Hi, it's Sunday and it's time for my mental health vlog. And it's my birthday! Woo! It's also Mario Day, as my son wanted to point out. It's like, you were born on Mario Day. I'm like, no, Mario Day was created on my birthday. I am exhausted. I'm so tired. It is ridiculous. I think we had the time change last night, which, when you're going out and you're planning on spending out time late, a time change that forces you to lose an hour does not work in your favor. And I think we went to bed around, the clock said 6. So it was really 5, but it was 6. And I am not the young kid I used to be, that I can stay up so late and function the next day. I took a nap in the recliner a little bit today, and even then I am beat. I can go to bed now and be okay, and the sun's still out. So, excuse me. And I'm sorry if that triggered a yawn in you. So, let's see. A lot of bigger things happened this week. I had a really bad evening at work on Tuesday. We discovered an issue that happened during the last release, which I was in charge of. And this particular item didn't get validated. And it didn't get validated because it had nothing to do with what we were requesting. But that's neither here nor there. Something changed. It affected the system. The first time we found out about it, I was kind of getting the blame for it. And I was like, I get it, but there's no way I would have ever thought to look at this, because it wasn't something that we were doing. So anyway, Tuesday night was really hard. And because I really was just like, I've been at the company for 23 years. May will be 23 years. I've been in the company 23 years. And do I want to leave over this? And I've also been thinking, because I have been with the company for 23 years, I'm a victim of salary compression, which means I could do the exact same thing in another company right now for probably $20,000 more a year than I'm making right now. But I like the company that I'm with, and I don't want to move jobs just to move jobs. I've got a lot vested here. My boss and then my team, me and my coworker, my boss, had a conversation on Wednesday afternoon where there were some apologies made for how reactions were, which I was very grateful for. And we ended the day pretty well with how we wanted to move forward and address certain things. My boss was like, you are right. There was nothing in this release that would have impacted this area. There's no reason the developer should have touched anything in this area. That's not something that they can do without letting us know. So she kind of alleviated the responsibility that she had put on me to catch stuff that was completely unrelated to anything else we were doing. So I was grateful to be alleviated for that. But unfortunately, the deliverable that had the issue, or the product that had the issue, had to deal with accounting and invoicing, and we had to do some emergency fixes real quick. So I was glad that we were able to get that taken care of, because it could have been much worse than it was. Let's see. My meds this week, I feel like the nausea has been better with regards to like the waves of nauseousness I'm getting, and this is from adjusting to the Ozempic, where they put me on the 0.5 right away as opposed to the 0.25, which they put a lot of people on to start. And I've been having really strong waves of nauseousness, which like I talked about last week, if I just kind of focus and chill, they pass. Well, another incident happened where I wasn't in a spot where I could just sit and chill, and it hit, and I ended up getting sick in my mouth. And luckily my fiance got me some water, because I needed it like right then. So I was talking to my mom, who's on a similar medication, and my future mother-in-law, who's also on a similar medication, or was familiar with the medication, and they were like, the amount of nausea that you're having isn't normal. And I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of starting to feel like it's not normal. So I guess one of the hopes is that I'm now maybe being over medicated because of the other medications I'm on that we didn't change. And the goal was for this to work enough where I could get off of some of these other, or reduce some of these other medicines. So I think after the 3-month window with working with this new medication, I'm going to talk to the doctor about seeing if that is a cause for the nausea, and if so, what she thinks the right course of action should be, which I'm hoping would be to reduce or remove one of the other meds. Thursday, we had tickets to go see Beetlejuice the musical, and I have been looking forward to the show since I heard the announcement that it was coming in this season. This is the one show I wanted to see more than anything else, and I upgraded our seats so we were dead center, front row on the mezzanine, which were amazing seats. So we left with enough time. We stopped, we got coffee, we picked up dinner to go, something small like chicken fingers or whatever, and just ate in the car on the way to the theater. Traffic was horrible. It was starting to rain. There's construction everywhere because of Houston. And we finally got there, and we were going to be cutting it so close, and the parking lot at the theater was full. And we've never had that happen before. We had no idea where to go. So there was a sign that said, go to this address and park there. I have no idea what this address is, and by the time you see the sign, you have to, at that point, go way around your elbow to get back to your asshole because you've passed the point that you can turn around. So I freaked out. I don't like driving downtown. I popped out of the car and I told my fiance, you have to do this now. I can no longer, handle the situation. I don't drive well. And so we got us parked, and he was like, well, just go, because you're going to miss the opening number, and that's going to really upset you, so just go. I'm like, if I'm going to miss it, you're going to miss it. We're just going to, we'll see it together. We'll do whatever we're going to do together. Hindsight, that was a poor decision on my part, because I did end up having to watch the opening number, which is my favorite song of the show, on the TV in the lobby, because they had closed the doors and started the show. And there were a lot of us that missed that opening number. So it wasn't like it was isolated to us. It was a lot of people. I kind of wish that they had kind of countered and seen that and swayed the start time of the show a little bit, but it's I guess it was just poor planning on our part. Knowing that it was supposed to rain, maybe we should have left earlier. I don't know. But after missing the first number, which I was so sad about, the rest of the show, we got to our seats, and the rest of the show was just phenomenal. The cast was so funny. I mean, it's not the strongest storyline, and it's not the best show I've ever seen, but the writing is really, really great. I feel like they tried so hard to keep original elements when they were changing part of the storyline, so not everything worked for me, but I thoroughly enjoyed the show. The music is fun, the sets are fun, the actors are fun, the jokes are hilarious, the breaking of the fourth wall consistently from the Beetlejuice character, it's just fun, and it's well done, and the show is a lot of fun. So it was only here for like 6-7 days. I think today is the last day, but thoroughly enjoyed it. So that was my birthday gift to myself, was upgrading the seats, which I got both of our seats upgraded for $70 total. I was very surprised because this show is like sold out every night. So that was the best $70 I've spent, as far as I'm concerned. Friday after school, or Friday, I went to pick up my son after school and brought him home, and Friday was kind of calm and chill, nothing major going on. And then yesterday we were getting ready to go to dinner at Benihana's because my future in-laws wanted to take me out for my birthday. I'm like, well, let's do an early birthday because we still want to go out and do stuff and meet with friends in the evening. So we met at Benihana's at like 5:30, and just about half an hour before we were getting ready to leave the house. So at this point, I'm already trying to get my son moving. My ex calls me or sends me a message, hey, there's a homework assignment that he needs to get done today. Can you review that with him and make sure it gets done? I'm like, no, not now. So, and then he was like asking me all these questions. I'm like, I really can't deal with you right now. I have 18 other things to deal with. And he got, well, your son should be the priority. And I'm like, yeah, he is, you're not. So, so yeah. So we turns out he had volunteered for this assignment with his best friend. Wink, wink, wink. And she ended up doing most of the work on her by herself. And her dad or mom, I'm not sure which one, reached out to my ex and was like, "Hey, there's an issue." And when we addressed it with my son, his solution was to copy and paste something off of Wikipedia and turn that into his assignment. I'm like, no, that's no. So we had a chat about credible resources. And I told him, I said, you are so lucky. I said, I didn't have internet until I was 16, 17 at the house. Maybe 15. I don't remember exactly what year it was. And before that, we had a library next to our computer room that had books in it. I hate books. And I had to use encyclopedias. We had Encyclopedia Britannica. We had the entire freaking set. But I had to use that for homework and resources and research and learn how to do a bibliography and all that kind of stuff. And then just for him to have every piece of information in the world available to your fingertips at this age is just mind-boggling to me. And the difficult part of that is going to be deciphering what's legitimate information and what's not, because the dumbing down of America has absolutely made that harder, and people don't critical think anymore, and I'm guilty of that too. So it's not like I'm being high and mighty. So I want to make sure that we're pointing out the things that he needs to know and understand, because I'm not sure he's going to get that from school, and I'm not sure he's going to get that from any kind of other outside influence. That you have to actually make sure you're validating what you're saying, because he already says a lot of stuff that he hears or sees or whatever. It's not accurate, not true, and sometimes not great. So that's something that we have to keep on with him, making sure that the content that he is sharing, he has confirmed is accurate. And again, I am guilty of this. See something on Facebook and like, ooh, babe, did you hear the blah, 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 blah? And he's like, what? And then I'll click on it to find out more. If I click on it to find out more, because some people just stop at the headline. Oh, cool, that happened. Fact, move on. Click on it and I'm like, oh, no, this is an old article about something completely different and unrelated, so I don't think this is valid. See? Or, oh, this is a very, very, biased news site. And I told my son, I'm like, right now, I would only trust library websites. And even then, it's iffy. So, but the main point that I needed to tell him was, you have been super lucky to be as smart as you are and to be able to naturally excel and score so high on all these aptitude tests that you take. And that's great. I said, but you're not applying yourself with any of that information, because we're not seeing those same results in your schoolwork. And it's because, I don't know if it's because you're bored or whatever. So we're like, if this curriculum is not working for you, then we're going to have to look at the curriculum of like public school or a different schooling environment. So, not as a threat, but I mean, it's the reality is, it's if this curriculum isn't working, you find something else that does. And we had been demonizing public school as like a scare tactic, and my fiance was like, I really don't like that y'all are doing that. And he's like, I went to public school and I think I turned out pretty great, and it's not nearly the horrible place that y'all are making it out to be. And I really took that to heart. And he's like, well, it kind of made me feel bad when you were saying that. And I'm like, your points are incredibly valid, and you're absolutely right. Because millions and millions and millions of people go through the public school system, and the majority of them turn out to be, pretty decent members of society. But you could say that about any school. I mean, I went to private school. I graduated with some people that did not turn out to be contributing members of society. Not in any real beneficial way. So I was glad that my fiance took the time to really tell me how he was feeling, and how the things that I was saying was bringing up those feelings in him. And he was absolutely valid. So I made the change I needed to make. That was another conversation I had with my son this week. Was he was on the phone with his daddy, who was yelling at him about this assignment, and I guess his dad called him manipulative. I didn't hear the conversation. I only saw my son's reaction. And I'm like, well, do you feel that the actions that you have done that caused Daddy to take them as manipulative is something that you can change? He's like, no. I'm like, oh, I disagree. I said, he said this probably because of this, this, and this. And whenever you do this, this, and this, that is in fact manipulating the situation. You're trying to manipulate the outcome. And I said, you can feel your feelings. Your feelings are completely valid. I'm not trying to invalidate your feelings. Feel them, process them, move on. But if you don't do the work to fix what caused the feelings in the first place, you've wasted your time. So he is at that age now where there's got to be a lot less coddling and a lot more hard truths, because this is the point where you realize that life is not easy and you have to work. You cannot skate by. I skated by way too much in my life, and I'm not nearly where I want to be as an adult because of that. So I recognize that. A lot of it has to do with privilege. I recognize that. So yeah, I also recognize that, yes, today is my 45th birthday, and the very first thought that I had about that this week was, well, cool, I'm not going to make it to 90, so my life is half over. And my friend is like, you shouldn't think that way. I'm like, I shouldn't, but here we are. So I am definitely having a hard time with 45. I think that's about it. I'm tired. My brain is not functioning well. So I am going to go and put on some comfy pants and sit on the recliner and spend the rest of my birthday watching TV and playing and drawing on my iPad, I think. I think that's how I want to spend it. And going to bed early. That's part of my plan. Because when you're tired, you need to sleep. That is self-care. Even if it's your own fault, you're tired. But a good time was had. Okay. Check on your friends, make sure they're doing okay. I have responded to so many of my friends today on Facebook. I'm very grateful for all the messages that you all sent me. Thank you so much. Responding to everyone on your birthday on Facebook and social media is a full-time job. So I don't want anyone to ever feel that I don't appreciate the fact that you took time to wish me happy birthday. So I want to make sure I take the time to let you know that it's appreciated. Check on your family. My sister called me at 9:30 this morning saying, why aren't you up? I can't harass you on your birthday if you're up. And I'm like, I went to bed like 3 hours ago, so no, I'm not up. Of course, I talked to my mom and my aunt saying that was nice. And then check on yourself. What do you need? I'm tired. I need a nap. I need sleep. So I also need to buy new clothes because all my t-shirts are too big now. Like, this is so big. Like, there's so much less of me than there was. I kind of like it. Okay, that is it, guys. I will check in with you next week, which will be St. Patrick's Day. So I will be in green. I hope you are too. I can't pinch you virtually, but I can try. Bye, guys.